So I need to build a new PC for my creative workflow. I really wanted to build a computer tower, but you know, scalpers be scalping. This would have been a perfect opportunity to go Apple. Didn't go Apple, but I think I found quite a bit of a beast of a PC laptop. Now I've been using this laptop for the past few months now, and let me tell you, woo! Runs like a dream. Great for content creation and even a little bit of gaming, depending on the specs that you go for. But I mean, you know, don't expect like super high frame rates. But is this laptop perfect for you? Let's find out. First things first, for like any creator looking for a laptop, it's been a struggle, especially on the Mac end of things, to having a lack of ports. But with this laptop, you got nothing but ports. Let me explain. You got the power port, Thunderbolt 3 compatible port, HDMI, USB-A, and on the right side, Ethernet port, full SD card slot. Yes, a full SD card slot. Another USB-C, and then the headphone jack. It's got a 720p camera, not too bad. Laptop cameras usually are horrendous for Zoom calls and everything. This is pretty doable. Quick tip, to make any Zoom call look better, whether it's on your phone, laptop, whatever, probably light your face better. That would usually help the clarity of videos. Here's a quick test on seeing how the speakers sound. I mean, as far as like, you know, on the creative end, like editing, especially audio editing, I'd probably recommend some decent headphones. But other than that, like just lounging around playing some YouTube works out pretty well. As far as the keyboard and, you know, like the key travels, it's very pleasant and it's not really loud to the ears. If you're in a quiet environment or trying not to wake up your roommate or whatever, it's not gonna be that loud. It's actually very decently quietish. Being a creator laptop and not really a gaming laptop, it still even has some backlight keys, which is really, really nice. It's this nice, white, elegantly looking backlit keys. Now with this laptop, you can actually get different configurations of the specs. You can get a 4K display, which is non-touch, or you can get the 1080 display, which is touchable. Usually, I would go the, you know, like touchscreen route. Most of my laptops are, but this is the first time I went with a 4K non-touch. With creating, I wanted to get as much accurate colors and, you know, like high quality display for video editing, especially with, you know, moving up from a Canon 80D to like a Sony A7C or whatever with 4K capabilities, more color compact data. I wanted a screen that could really capture that, and that's why I went with 4K. This 4K Ultra HD True Pixel display delivers true to life images with 100% Adobe RGB color gamut right out of the box and factory calibrated. Also, something really cool to note about this computer's hinges of the screen. Check this out. What in the world would you use this kind of feature for, you might ask? Well, let me tell you, audience. It really comes in handy when you're like lounging around, maybe doing a little work. In my case, really using it for binge watching on YouTube or Netflix. It really comes in handy getting that perfect angle, because most laptops actually limit you on the hinge flexibility. It kind of reminds me of a lot of laptops that are like 2-in-1s, where you have the ability to go like, you know, all the way around, so it kind of turns into like a tablet. But this kind of gives you like that halfway amount. Also, what this feature is good for, being a creator laptop, where this feature actually really comes in really nicely, not only is the fact that you can bend this all the way down, but there's a specific button on the top feature set button where you can flip the screen so you can easily show whoever you're working with what you're working on, or sharing memes. You know, with all the specs in here, this is actually quite a thin laptop. I mean, look how thin this is. That's crazy. Man, laptops have really come a long way. Just saying. Now this comes with like a carbon gray finish with a nice hint of the logo, which is so elegant, you know, rather than a flashy, colorful, vibrant, RGB blasting backlit keyboards. The laptop's really tricked out for gamers. You can actually take this out to a meeting and you look totally professional. You could probably be taken very seriously with this laptop. Now this trackpad is wider than most, which is actually really good, especially when it comes to editing, you know, scrolling through the timelines. It also has a fingerprint scanner on the top left of the mouse pad, which is interesting. I don't have any good or bad notes about that. I've just never seen that in a mouse pad before. Usually it's on the side or like above on the top. And then as far as like, you know, other forms of Windows Hello, it does have Face ID unlock. Now as far as the specs that I opted for this computer, I got the Intel i7-10875H, has 8 cores and boosts up to 5.1 gigahertz. It also comes with the RTX 2070 Super, 32 gigs of RAM, you know, which is good enough for like 2 Chrome tabs, and 1 terabyte of SSD storage, which is M.2. And again, the 4K screen, the non-touch version. And with this configuration on the time of purchase on Amazon, it was around $1,700. And in my opinion, my amateur opinion, I'm not trying to start any, PC Apple battles in the comments. All I'm saying is, from a very amateur viewpoint perspective, bang for buck, I feel like this is more worth it compared to an Apple computer with the same specs, which is probably like double the price. But wait, that's not all. What I love about these laptops is just how customizable PCs can be. And that's the difference between like Apple and PC. Sometimes Apple, you really cannot upgrade much. But with this PC, if you don't choose to, when you purchase in the configuration you choose, you can actually add another M.2 SSD if you want to for more storage and whatnot, which is perfect for the OmniGo editor, especially with all these like huge camera files like Sony and Canon with the 4K and even 8K files. You're probably gonna fill up the hard drives you got already. So having some extra breathing room, or again, having an extra hard drive just for that. I did want to note though, you can get an i9 with these creator versions, but only with the Creator 17. Just wanted to point that out. But with editing, the i7 is still a killer CPU. But again, I love how these laptops are just so user-friendly, upgradable. And with 32 gigs of RAM, running gaming, video editing, multitasking with Google, it'll run it pretty smoothly. And something really cool is the Creator Center. If it doesn't come installed, you can install it on the Microsoft Store, where you can actually go in and set how well the hardware works with the software programs that you're using. It can adjust the speeds of the fans to cool it down, especially when you're doing high intensive editing, or you can actually turn the fans down and you can go in and adjust the fans to kick on when you want them to. So if you're recording, streaming, you won't have blaring jet engines blowing in the background, ruining your audio. With these kind of specs in this laptop, on the editing front, I am a Premiere user. It runs 4K clips so smoothly. It runs pretty smoothly once you drop it on the timeline without any proxies or anything. Even after editing, it'll run through playback really smoothly. And rendering speeds are very exceptional. A keynote though, if you want to get the best out of the hardware in this laptop, probably best to make sure it's running at optimum compatibility and make sure that's plugged in with the charger that it comes with. So it utilizes all the power in this laptop. You will see a little bit of a difference when it's rendering plugged in or even editing plugged in rather when it's not. So keep that in mind. As far as gaming though, I did do a little bit of gaming. I have a gaming channel, by the way, just shouting myself out. I'll put it in the link down in the description. We're working with 8 cores and 32 gigs of RAM. And especially with the RTX 2070 Super, you're gonna get some decent gaming. Especially with the RTX and the realistic lighting, you're gonna get realistic and fantastic lighting during game because of the RTX ray tracing. Speaking of battery power, chilling and watching YouTube or even Netflix, it ran me about 4.5 to 6 hours, which of course would be less if you're doing more intensive things like video editing or even gaming. And when editing, I got around 3-ish, a little bit, maybe a little bit more, maybe a little less hours worth of just like straight editing. Which in my case, that seems pretty decent for what you can get. And one thing that's always my concern is when traveling, especially on airplanes, a lot of laptops are limited on airplanes because most airplanes don't allow 100 watts. And this laptop charger is like 230 watts, if I'm correct. So some of you may be traveling now, but when most of you are traveling, again, for work and whatnot, the left Thunderbolt 3 port does allow power delivery. Or you can get even a nice size portable charger that you can carry with on the road or even on airplane to charge your laptop. Like I said before, with editing or gaming, to get the most out of the hardware, you're probably going to want to use the 230 watt charger that comes with the laptop to give it the optimal power that it needs. So just keep that in mind when traveling. One of my other laptops has a USB-C charger, which is 65 watts, and I plugged it in here. And it allows you to plug in 65 watts, especially for airplanes. That's like the sweet spot for airplanes. Because quick tip, planes only allow up to 65 watts of like charging your laptops. So if you want to like watch movies, or if you want to edit and then like turn it off and plug it in and let it charge, you can totally do that on an airplane. And the Thunderbolt 3 port allows fast charging the phones. Also keep in mind with laptops and traveling, especially on planes, most planes don't allow things with batteries 100 watts or over. But get this laptop is only 99.9 watts per hour. I just love how companies are just taking all the criticism and everything that people actually really need and doing that, helping the community. But this is the end of my review for this laptop. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought about the laptop. Questions, thoughts, concerns. Like this video if you did, dislike this video if you didn't, and if you dare, choose to subscribe for some more creator related content. Stay tuned.